It had reached the point, some former workers said, that they would pray before the start of their $9 an hour shifts.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Boss Watch is a segment that we do every single week where we take a look at what bosses are up to, particularly in the American South and the American colonies, but not exclusively. As I've been saying for the past month, the way that we have been doing Boss Watch is we have been checking federal agencies that are tasked with enforcing worker protection laws, checking their press releases and things like that. The Occupational Safety and Health Administration, the Mine Safety and Health Administration, the Department of Labor, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, all of those things. And since Trump has been inaugurated, none of these agencies have announced any new enforcement actions. And so I guess bosses are just behaving super great, even though for the last 4 years, at least 3 to 8 bosses just in the South every single week were found to have been stealing from their workers, were found to have put their employees in unsafe working conditions illegally. All of that. Bosses are just on their best behavior now, if we are to believe the Trump administration, because there's been no new enforcement actions. But there have been some news. One of those is in Texas, where a worker at a Tesla plant died this summer. OSHA investigated it because obviously he died before Trump came into office, and so that was back a long time ago when the federal government cared about worker deaths. That was investigated, but the investigation did not conclude until late January. That investigation has now concluded, but OSHA is not releasing its findings to the public, which is what they normally do. Normally, if you go back and tvlr.fm, you can find our Boss Watch segments for, the last several years. And you will see, after every one of these investigations concludes, OSHA puts out, here's what happened. They're not doing that here with Tesla. So Representative Kassar in Texas, who represents the district that this facility is in, is calling on OSHA to release its findings to the public, because he says that if OSHA does not release its findings to the public, then that gives at least the appearance that Tesla is getting preferential treatment. And then in Union Busters, this segment of Boss Watch, Union Busters covering national updates, is sponsored by Labor Lab. Labor Lab is an employer watchdog organization. They are committed to safeguarding the right to organize through unions, collective bargaining, and mutual aid. They do this by combing through reports that Union Busters are required to file with the Department of Labor. Here are the new LM20s. These are the forms that Union Busters have to file with the Department of Labor. Here are the new LM20s that were filed last week. Empire Auto Parts in Totowa, New Jersey, hired Quest Consulting for $300 to $450 an hour per consultant. The election was lost by the union, 24 to 59. Vestas American Technology in Bad Axe, Michigan, hired LRI Consulting for $425 an hour. That union election is still open, still pending. The results has not happened yet.
Hey, 5 seconds. Just wanted to say that this is only possible because of our donors. If you want to see more of this, then consider donating yourself at tvlr.fm/donate.
Confluence Health for Wenatchee Regional Eye Center in Wenatchee, Washington, hired LRI Consulting for $425 an hour. That election is still ongoing. Evergy in Burlington, Kansas, hired LRI Consulting for $425 an hour. There is no NLRB case open there right now. McAllister Oil in Wellington, Kansas, hired GRCA. They did not disclose their compensation. The union lost the election 3-9. Meats by Lynn's in Hammond, Indiana, hired CACR Labor Education Services. They did not disclose their compensation. The election was 10-9 in favor of unionization, but the challenges were determinative, and so there is no official results right now. There was there was at least one challenged ballot, which means that that challenged ballot is determinative, and so the NLRB is going to have to investigate and see if that voter was eligible or not. In amended LM20s, LRI Consulting amended their LM20 for Blue Oval SK in Glendale, Kentucky, where the UAW has a huge election, very consequential. LRI Consulting added subcontractors whose compensation rate is $425 an hour. Just an inordinate amount of money being spent on these union busters to dissuade workers from exercising their federally protected right to organize a union, their constitutional right to associate with their fellow workers. Really, really gross stuff. There's going to be some more updates that we include in Boss Watch in the newsletter, so make sure that you subscribe to the newsletter so that you can get those other updates. The other one that we're going to be taking a look at is a Washington Post article taking a look at a Phoenix City, Alabama lumber mill. The title of the Washington Post article is, "It was the deadliest workplace in America, so why didn't safety regulators shut it down?" At Phoenix Lumber Company, this is from the piece, workers had lost fingers, broken bones, and been mangled by machines. At least 28 employees reported injuries since 2010 at a company with only 50 people on the payroll at a time. 3 workers have died, and a medical examiner's report detailed how just 23 pounds of one employee was recovered after he was caught in a machine. Jesus. I mean, did you hear that, folks? A medical examiner's report detailed how just 23 pounds of a person, that was all that could be recovered after he was caught in a machine. It had reached the point, some former workers said, that they would pray before the start of their $9 an hour shifts. So we'll be including some more excerpts and pointing to that article in the newsletter as well. So tvlr.fm/contact is where you can subscribe to those newsletters.
You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.